getting a warrant to spy on Carter Page, and by default the Trump team, is probable cause.
Right.
Do you know what the standard for arresting someone is as well? The standard of evidence you need to actually arrest them and take their freedom?
Probable cause?
Probable cause. I did not rehearse that with you. You're not a cop, right?
I am not a cop, Dan.
You are not a federal agent. Joe is a sound engineer and an executive producer of the Dan Bongino Show. He is not a law enforcement officer. So what you're telling me right now is probable cause, the Democrats, you're insisting you had probable cause, even though you make no case in your memo on Page. You're then insisting that the dossier was a component of it, apparently not understanding what probable cause means. It doesn't matter if it's a component. But then you're suggesting Carter Page is the boogeyman, as you suggest what? You already met the probable cause standard, except for the fact that Carter Page has never been arrested and is out doing cable news right now? And this doesn't sound dumb to you. Guys, ladies, listen, I know, Joe and I, we love our drops and sound bites. And we love, messing around and being, just humor sometimes takes the edge off the show because we don't want to be screamers all the time. But I'm asking not the conservatives that listen who are already convinced the Obama team spied on the Trump team. I'm asking even reasonable Democrats who might listen to our show or found it by mistake, or maybe you found it and you like it. I don't know. I know we have Democrat listeners because I get emails from this one guy, Richard. He's like a maniac. He emails me all the time. It's actually kind of funny. I always respond, thanks a lot. God bless. Drives him crazy. But I know we have Democrat listeners out there. I'm just asking you to be reasonable here. You either have to have a fundamental misunderstanding of how the law works, or you're lying. Either you had probable cause without the dossier, and therefore, Joe, did not need the dossier, right? If you have probable cause for a warrant without the dossier, you don't need it.
Right.
Or you didn't have probable cause and you needed the dossier, and now that it's false, you're running for the hills because you got a warrant without probable cause. There's no other way.
Yeah.
Please tell me what the third explanation is. If you had probable cause, you didn't need the dossier. If you didn't and you needed the dossier, and the dossier, which we now know is fake, has been debunked, you didn't have probable cause. And you went to court and spied with no evidence to do so. It's inarguable. Okay, so point one here. And this is critical you understand this. The dossier, the Democrat memo crushes them. It crushes them. Why they released this thing, I have no idea.
Yeah.
Because very simply, it acknowledges the dossier was used. And although they tortured themselves in the memo to minimize its presence as the probable cause evidence vehicle, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it was 1% or 90%. What matters is without it, there was no probable cause and therefore no legal justification to spy on the Trump team. None. And this is where, Joe, I don't want to beat this thing to death here, but this is where they're going to be in a world of trouble. And why I keep telling you folks, there are going to be legal consequences for this. At some point, somebody is going to have to come forward once the FISA application's released, either through closed quarters or once that application, because it hasn't been released yet. In other words, the full mountain of evidence, Joe, presented to the judge to get the warrant has not been released.
Right.
Folks, sooner or later, that's going to happen. And sooner or later, the evidence used is going to become an irrefutable public record. It hasn't yet. That's why the Democrats are still lying about it. I think they're just buying time. But releasing this memo is going to expose them as frauds when the FISA warrant comes out, Joe, because it's going to show clear as day. Right. There was no probable cause without the dossier. None. This is why I keep begging them, just take a bath. You know, the corporate expression we keep using when corporations lose money and they take a bath, they just announce all the bad news in one quarter. The Democrats, just get it out of the way. Just take a bath and admit they spied on the Trump team with no evidence. Or let me just be absolutely precise. They spied on the Trump team without the legal requirement for evidence. In other words, you shredded the Constitution. Just take a bath. Your memo proves the point. At no point in the memo, Joe, do they refute the fact that the dossier was used. None.
None. Yeah, I know.
Because they can't. And this is what I told you. This is the difference between Benghazi and these other scandals that the Democrats managed to somehow skate accountability on. Unbelievably, by the way. Joe, there's a court paper trail. There's transcripts. There's court stenographers. You can't lie about what was said in the court. You can't. It's going to go public. Take a bath. Take it. So point number one, the Democrat memo confirms the dossier was used. Full stop. That's all you need to know. Oh, but it was only a small part. Do you understand how probable cause works? It doesn't matter. No, we had probable cause without it. Then why'd you use it? Why? Do you understand they have no argument here? We had probable cause without the dossier. Are you an idiot? Oh, so you just threw in a fake dossier, what, to contaminate your own case? You can't, there's nowhere for you to go. Nowhere. It's over, Johnny. It's over. It's over, Johnny. Just take a bath. So first they confirmed the dossier was used, just to leave that behind. I want to make 2 points. I like bullet points for you, just so you have some takeaways. All right. Today's show also brought to you by our buddies at iTarget. Big fan of these guys. Thank you for all the positive feedback. You know, ladies and gentlemen, anybody can buy a firearm. I bought a new one this weekend, actually, at my favorite place, Lotus Gunworks, which I love. Every time I go in there, they're great to me. They see me doing hits and stuff. So thanks. Shout out to Lotus Gunworks on down at Stewart over there. But anybody can have one. The question is, can you fire one accurately? That's what really matters. Anybody can pull a trigger. You have to be able to hit what you're engaging. God forbid you're engaged in a use of force scenario like that, folks. Self-defense matters. Proficiency matters. Now, this is I love this system because it enables you to practice in the safety and security of your own home. What is the iTarget Pro system? And the website, just to be clear, is the letter I. targetpro.com. That's the letter I, targetpro.com. It is a laser round that goes in your firearm. You don't have to change anything, folks. Whatever you have, I have a Glock 43, I have a Glock 42, I have a number of different handguns, but my Glock 43 is a 9mm. You drop the laser round in the chamber. You don't have to make any special modifications. And what does it enable you to do? You have to, by the way, safely check it twice, check it 3 times, look, listen, feel, use that pinky, probe an empty chamber, drop that laser round in there. When you depress the trigger on it's not an empty chamber, it's going to be this laser round. It's going to emit a laser onto a target they send you. And using this phone app that you download, it's real simple. You get to see exactly where those rounds went. People have been sending me their groupings on, say, like a Monday and a Friday, and their accuracy improves dramatically. Folks, you get to practice your sight alignment, your trigger control, your grip, all the stuff that will make you a proficient firearm user. God forbid in the event you need to use it. Remember, competitive shooters dry fire 10 times. Dry fire, meaning they fire an empty weapon to practice their trigger control and their sight alignment. They practice 10 times more dry fire than they do live fire. The range is expensive. It's great to go to, but you can practice in the safety and security of your own home. Go to letter I, targetpro.com. That's itargetpro.com, and I'll give you a nice savings here. Promo code Dan. Thanks to everybody who supports them, by the way. Dan, D-A-N, my first name. You'll get 10% off. Okay. Point number 2. Mm-hmm. That the Democrat memo reinforces, and we want to thank them for it. They never at any point in the memo, Joseph, refute the fact that the FISA judge was not told Hillary Clinton and the DNC, in fact, paid for the dossier.
That's correct.
At no point in the memo. Well, again, I'm puzzled why the Democrats would release a memo that buttresses Republican talking point. Folks, I love to come on the show and give you the inside baseball. Here's this, here's that. If we had a slogan, Joe, right, it would be the why matters. You've only been saying it from day one. I genuinely have no idea why they were so stupid on this. My guess, because I do feel like I owe you some explanation, but I'm let me be crystal clear. I'm entirely speculating. Mm-hmm. My guess here is, Joe, is that they are so caught hook, line, and sinker with this thing that they are simply buying time until the Manafort case develops. And don't go anywhere, because I'm going to get to that in a second, because they're going to change their story again. I promise I'm going to tie this up. But my guess is that they released the memo knowing they could temporarily obfuscate and confuse people to buy time when those court documents are released, because it's going to be devastating, Joe, and it's going to show they had nothing, so they can switch the script to Manafort, and I'll get to that in a second. But It doesn't refute at any point in the memo one of the major Republican talking points that the judge was never told a material fact that he should have been told, that the information, the debunked information in the Trump dossier was paid for by Hillary. He was never told. Now, to be fair here, the Democrats, I hate that to be fair, but unlike them, I'm going to say, well, there was a footnote in there that said that candidate one working, was hired company one to attack its other candidate, and it may have had political motives. Folks, no names are used. Joe, you think it's important that it was Trump and Hillary? You think that's important?
Well, I feel like it's very important.
You're right. If I'm running against Joe Armacost and I file a police report, you think it's, by the way, it turns out later to be fake. You think it's important for the judge to know that me and Joe are running for the same, say, congressional seat, and he's my next door neighbor, and I want to file a police report to make him look stupid? You think that's important? Yeah, maybe, Joe, right? None of that is in there. So the Democrats release a memo claiming that, oh no, the partisan bias was told to the judge, therefore this was fair and square, while simultaneously, Joe, acknowledging in crystal clear language that the words Hillary Clinton and the Democrat Party do not appear in there anywhere.
Yeah.
Folks, I don't get it. Now, one final point. So, again, they acknowledge that the judge was never told. So to your liberal friends, when they bring this up, well, the Democrat memo said there was a footnote in there. Yeah, did the footnote indicate that Hillary and the DNC paid for it? Oh, no, it didn't? Okay, thank you. Quiet now. Thank you very much. Have a nice day, though. Thanks for bringing that up. And one final point on this. The Democrats in the memo labor themselves to again establish the credibility of Christopher Steele. Folks, I've already talked about this on the show in another spectacular Andy McCarthy piece. Christopher Steele, of course, the British spy paid to gather the intelligence on Trump from his Russian friends. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Steele's credibility doesn't matter. There is no vicarious credibility, as Andy McCarthy points out. The information is not from Steele. It's from information Steele says he got from someone else.
Right.
And McCarthy made the point on Fox and Friends this morning, which was brilliant, that, Joe, we don't even know Steele's telling the truth.
Right. Yeah.
We don't even know. And he says, Joe, how do you know Christopher Steele's sources even exist? How do you know?
I don't know.
I don't either. Because we don't know who they are.
Right.
There is no vicarious credibility. If I am a source for a police department on Joe's constant felonious mopery, and I want Joe indicted for felonious mopery, and I have evidence of mopery, right?
Yeah.
But my evidence comes from another source, so it's like second and third hand junk. It's the other source's credibility that matters, not mine. Not the person who passes it on to the police department. I could be Mother Teresa. If the source passes me the information just doesn't like Joe, and he's a drunk who all day just has nothing to do but bother Joe, it's his credibility. He gave me the info. It's not mine. So to your Democrat friends who constantly are citing Christopher Steele's credibility, please respond. Are you unfamiliar with how this works? His credibility is irrelevant. It's his source's credibility. And one, we have no idea they even exist, these sources. We don't. We have no idea who they are. Secondly, it's their credibility that matters. And Joe, why can't we judge their credibility? Because we don't know who they are. We don't even know if they're breathing, if they're actual people. We don't know. Oh, man. All right. Folks, this case is getting uglier and uglier. There are two pieces that came out, one on Breitbart and one on the Daily Signal. Both will be in the show notes today. I got to remember that. I'm going to put a little note because sometimes I forget and I get upset with myself. There's a piece first in the Daily Signal. Remember the entire time what we've been talking about, and this piece is damning. Matter of fact, I have a book coming out on this. It's coming out soon. Matt Palumbo, my co-author, and I are almost done. But I sent this piece to Matt with like a gold mine. Like, look at this. Ding, 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 ding. Daily Signal has a piece out by Chuck Ross at the Daily Caller, who doesn't seem to like me much, but that's all right. He does great work over there, and I don't know why. Some people still like me for all kinds of reasons. I don't know. Whatever. Whatevs, as the kids say. But he does good work. He has a piece. He must write at the Daily Signal too, or they share pieces, whatever it may be. But there's a piece I'll put up at the show notes today. It's a must read if you've been following this case, because what have I told you, Joe, the entire time?